Do not redeem! Do not redeem the card! No! I will redeem it! Why are you redeeming?
India has become world famous for making all manner of scamming a national art form. Thus, in this video, we examine the zero-sum honor code, where winning justifies anything and getting caught is the only real crime, even if it means torching the West's good faith systems along the way. And it starts now.
So then, whether we like it or not, stereotypes persist because they reflect real, observable, average differences between groups in traits and behaviors, which humans detect through evolved pattern recognition. Individual variation is large and overlap is substantial, making stereotypes poor predictors for any one person. But robust data from psychology and behavioral genetics show that denying average differences entirely means ignoring empirical evidence. On a cultural level, Russians are known for their prowess in chess, Japanese for their refined manners, and the French for culinary excellence. Others, of course, are less flattering. Americans are loud. Irish can drink like fish. And Indians, well, India has turned elaborate fraud into a national art form. And now, with mass, unrelenting immigration that is demographically transforming the post-Western world, and that's a good thing, it pays to understand what is arriving. One thing arriving, in industrial quantities, however, are scams. The latest example making the rounds in 2025 is the wheelchair scam on India to US flights. Viral videos show long lines of perfectly able-bodied Indians rolling through airports in wheelchairs to jump queues, skip security, and hog lounges meant for the actual disabled. Air India suggests up to 30% of passengers request wheelchairs, with most ditching them post-boarding like discarded props. And these seemingly simple scams, though, are very much overshadowed by much larger schemes to acquire ill-gotten loot. In 2018, celebrity jeweler Nirav Modi fled India after orchestrating the country's largest banking fraud, $1.7 billion extracted over 6 years from a single Punjab National Bank branch, using a mountain of forged letters of undertaking. When the scheme collapsed, Modi was living luxuriously in London while the bank's share price cratered and India's taxpayers were left holding the bag. Then there's Rhodomac Pens. Its owner allegedly diverted $1.6 billion in bank loans meant for importing pen parts and expanding factories. Instead, the money funded luxury villas, private jets, and a lavish lifestyle. By the time authorities raided his luxurious Kanpur mansion, and that was in 2018, Rhodomac had become nothing more than a shell company that existed only on paper, and the banks were left chasing ghost ink. Rewind to the 1990s and you hit the most grandiloquent of them all, the Bihar fodder scam. Politicians, bureaucrats, and suppliers, all in cahoots, fabricated invoices for non-existent livestock, thousands of cows, buffaloes, even elephants that never existed, pocketing nearly $110 million in government funds earmarked for animal feed and medicine. The scam ran for almost 2 decades, involving the state's chief minister even, and exposed how entire treasuries could be looted with nothing more than a fake receipt and forged signatures. And these aren't isolated crimes. They are what's called generational heirlooms, passed down like family recipes. As Palash Krishna Maharota wrote in the Daily O, my schoolboy crush scam was the Bihar fodder scam. For others, it was the Nariv Modi. And today's teenagers will grow up swooning over whatever fresh multi-billion-dollar heist dominates tomorrow's headlines. And why is this? Well, because, as Mihrota explains, India is a zero-sum jungle. From the cigarette vendor quietly pocketing your 5 rupees to the private hospital billing you for blood tests you never took, everyone is simultaneously predator and prey. If you don't exploit, Mihrota warns, you will automatically become the exploited. Scams, he continues, barely register as scandals in India. We would riot in the streets over a fixed India-Pakistan cricket match long before we marched over a bank robbery that wipes out billions. But beneath the hustle lies something older, something fiercer, Izzat. And a very interesting thread has been making the rounds on X via Kiwi Farms that helps understand this concept more fully. Now, Izzat has no direct English equivalent, perhaps honor, reputation, or face, but they all fall short. It is a collective glory, a zero-sum currency shared by families, villages, and castes. Your gain is my loss, and losing brings unrighteous shame that stains everyone in your bloodline. In the world of Izzat, right and wrong do not exist, only winners and losers, and victory justifies anything. For example, a man pays another man to stop defecating in public. Well, the second man returns with his friends and beats the first man to an inch of his life. Not for the act itself, but for the public criticism. An eye is never enough. Izzat demands the whole head, and disputes can turn lethal and can last decades. And scams are Izzat on a grand scale. Nirav Modi did not merely steal $1.7 billion. He won. Rules are obstacles to bypass with jugaad, or clever improvisation. Many viral videos, especially in Canada, show men fleecing Western food banks for resale. And for Westerners, it's theft. But in Izzat, it is a triumph. He outsmarted the system and fed his family. Winning is righteous. Getting caught is the only sin. Even in the diaspora, Izzat travels like an uninvited guest, turning tragedies into communal crusades. Take 2 cases that are interrelated in North America. In Canada, 2 Indian men were convicted in Ontario for running a fraudulent truck driving school that offered substandard training in Punjabi, not in English nor French. And this was given to South Asian migrants while bypassing mandatory certification and charging $4,000 to $5,000 per student. In the US, a 28-year-old Punjabi truck driver who illegally entered the country caused a fatal crash by making an unauthorized U-turn, killing 3 members of an American family. And what followed was not just a legal fallout, it was an Izzat storm. Within days, petitions exploded on change.org. Advocate for leniency in Harjinder Singh's sentencing. And this amassed over 2.8 million signatures from the Indian diaspora, Punjabi communities, and sympathetic strangers worldwide. And this might seem insane for the average American, but when you peel back the layers, it's pure Izzat at work. This is not abstract justice. It is collective honor on the line. Harjinder's downfall shames not only him, but his village, his Punjabi kin, the entire Sikh trucking network in America. Admitting full fault is unthinkable. It would be social suicide, a stain spreading to every relative, every temple supporter. And instead, the community mobilizes like a feud. Mass signing campaigns, social media blitzes, and appeals from Sikh organizations. It is zero-sum redemption. Rally to win leniency. Restore the group's dignity, even if that means downplaying the shattered victim's family. For Izzat players, Exposure to the problem, and this, in this case being the fatal accident, is the real insult. Fix the system is secondary. Protecting honor is paramount, especially on the global stage. This is why Indian managers in the West hire more Indians. Merit is secondary. Hiring your own brings Izzat and a network of people who owe you lifelong loyalty. It's why diaspora Indians sometimes gloat about conquering Western systems built on good faith, as the stakes are asymmetrical. They have no skin in the long-term health of the system that they exploit. People will say, oh, well, Izzat, it's an old word. Nobody uses it anymore. Well, that's like saying Italians stopped having vendettas because the word feels dated. And that's why criticism of anything Indian, open defecation, festivals, food preparation, talking about Izzat, in fact, scam after scam, well, it triggers mass reporting, death threats, and coordinated outrage. The only consolation is that Izzat is a terrible long-term strategy. Companies taken over for Izzat points implode from infighting, corner cutting, and refusal to address real problems. That's why there are no Indian Microsofts or Googles, because complex systems cannot survive zero-sum honor feuds. Good faith systems, even imperfect ones, eventually outlast the hustlers. So what do you think? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, as always, remember to check to see that you're still subscribed, as YouTube has unsubscribed tens of thousands of people without their knowledge or consent. Also, if you'd like to help the channel, ways of doing so are in the description. It'd be very much appreciated. And with that, I will see you again in the next video. Bye for now.